When I moved into my new apartment, I didn't expect the view to matter. I just needed cheap rent, quiet nights, and enough sunlight to keep my plants alive. But then I noticed him. Across the street, on the opposite building's top floor, a guy sat by his window every evening, sketchbook in hand, pencil moving lazily as the city lights came on. Sometimes, he'd look up, eyes drifting toward my side of the street. Once, our gazes met. And somehow, I couldn't look away. I didn't know his name then, just that he liked red hoodies, always had earphones in, and drew until midnight. A week later, I left a note taped to my window. "Nice sketches." He smiled when he saw it, then scribbled something on a page and held it up against the glass. "How do you know they're nice from this far?" That became our game, notes through glass. Messages written on paper, flashed across the street, back and forth. We never texted, never spoke. Just silence, distance, and words carried through the space between two windows. He told me his name was Vihan. He was an architecture student, loved drawing skylines, hated his coffee black. I told him my name, Arjun, and that I worked from home and rarely left my desk. Days turned to weeks, then months. And somehow, those windows became home more than my own room did. Sometimes, when it rained, he'd draw me, at my desk, headphones on, pretending not to notice. Once, he held up a note that read, "I like how you look when you're lost in thought." I didn't know what to say, so I just smiled. One night, the power went out across both buildings. The whole street went dark. I lit a candle. A moment later, I saw his flame flicker too, tiny, golden, across the rain-smeared glass. He held up a note. "Still there?" I wrote back, "Always." That was the night I realized I was in love with a boy I'd never even touched. But then, one evening, his window stayed dark, no light, no sketchbook, no red hoodie. The next day, still nothing. The day after that, I saw a full rent sign go up. It felt like someone had turned off the color in my world. Weeks passed, the sign came down, someone else moved in, a stranger. A different life behind the same window. I tried to move on, but every evening, out of habit, I still looked across the street, hoping for a familiar shape, a flicker of a candle, a note against the glass. Then one day, as I was leaving for work, I found an envelope wedged under my door. No name, just my apartment number written in his handwriting. Inside was a small drawing, me, sitting by my window, candlelight on my face. At the bottom, a line. "I'm designing a cafe. It'll have windows like ours. Come find me when you're ready." I laughed through tears, because maybe some windows never close, they just wait for you to walk through them.